All right, guys, welcome to an awesome episode of 4.0 in Life. And you guys know the title because that is exactly what it is. I am so excited about this guest, mainly because this woman wears more hats than I do. So I had to write it down and post it. She's a mother. Okay, I'm going to need two hands soon. A wife, a fashionista, a TV star. Okay, learn how to marry me. I'm going to get into that one shortly. A dating relationship contributor for an online magazine. So Lord knows anyone needs some dating help in quarantine, you can hit her up. Ladies and gentlemen, Sadie. And Sadie says, listen to me. Here she is.
Hello.
I wish we were chatting before this, so we were having some belly laughs already. But so I met Sadie at an event that she put together, not knowing me at all. And the one thing I said to Sadie was, she didn't know me. I saw her, we hugged. It was like, and I said to her, I feel like I've known you for years. And when someone just gives me that instant, hey, welcome to my life, come on in, and awesome goodie bags, have to admit, great people, and you just surround yourself. I'm like, this is someone I'm gonna keep. I don't have a Rolodex. I was just gonna say my Rolodex, like that's so 1990s.
Yeah,
But in my
dated.
all right, listen, I'm gonna be 37 this year.
Oh, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, got you.
I'm doing
that.
I'm doing the La Mer and I'm taking care of the skin. But this is someone I want to keep in my back pocket. And I told you, I always ask every guest about this. I want you to, before we get into the nitty gritty, I want you to paint a picture for people who don't know you. And I don't know if it's the teacher in me, but I always say you have to describe yourself in 3 words.
3 words. Okay. Fair.
Okay.
I like to think that I'm a very fair person. I am very loyal, sometimes to a fault. But then when it's over, it's over. Okay. And fun loving. Like I like fun. I like laughs. I like that good energy all around me. So yeah, that's I think those are probably the best 3. There's a whole lot more, but those are probably the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you're a very bubbly person. I feel like if you yelled at someone, you would still be like, don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, you would, maybe not, maybe not. But even like, so obviously, people are going to be listening into us right now in their car. I will have video footage of this, but I want people to definitely watch our video because she's just like bouncing up and down the whole time. So
yeah,
that
I can't
really, don't worry, I can't either. And I only had 1 cup of coffee today. But okay, so let's just talk about all these hats you wear. And again, the podcast is called 4.0 in Life because it's just, I want to talk to people who can do all the things that you do and still manage to, and I say ace your life. We're not perfect, right? We're not going to get 100s all the way through it, but you're still making it work. So talk to me about all these hats you wear and definitely give us a little sneak peek into the world of television.
Okay. All right. So I guess first of all, with all the hats I wear, the whole mom thing, that just comes, it doesn't even seem like anything that, you have to work at. I'm mom. I love being a mom. And my older daughter, like she's out living her life now. She's like, and my younger daughter, she has autism. So I feel like just entering into her world sometimes or trying to get there, it's just that's a whole journey in and of itself, but it never feels like work. You know what I mean? And she's the best. She's like the most angelic, sweetest little girl ever. And then you have the hat of wife. Now,
she's pausing. She's pausing.
But no, really, being a wife, that's another thing to me that kind of just comes, because it's like a partnership. So
Right.
I don't feel like I'm really working at it. Don't get me wrong, there's some challenges, because you're dealing with another person and their personality. And so just trying to come together on things, but, and he's a cop. So it's like, when he comes home, he's had the rough day. He's had a whole lot of everything thrown at him.
Yeah.
I'm that ear. and I'm that ear, and I'm that ear for like ever, it seems like. But, you know, but I listen. I'm like, yeah, so just trying to be attentive to him. And then after a while, it's like, okay, bet.
Right.
But yeah, and what else? Oh goodness. Oh, the dating relationship contributor.
Mhm.
Now, writing. Writing is one of my first loves. I love doing that. To me, it comes effortless. It's like when they say, all right, we need 500 words. And then I could continue on for another 500. So it's like, it's something that I just enjoy doing. I think it's the best way that I express myself. Um, I think I'm even better with words on paper than I am in just speaking, and I can talk for days. So so it's funny though with the whole dating relationship contributor thing. People are like, well, what are you, an expert? No, not an expert, but I do have a lot of experience, experience with the online dating, experience with being hooked up, by a friend, it's just being married. This is actually my second marriage, and I was married really young before. So there are just so many things that I've experienced that I've learned from. And I feel like, why should you have to learn it the hard way? So I figure I write and blend whatever experience I have there. And yeah, so
I love it. I'm
yeah.
obsessed. Well, we
Oh,
shared, we have that in common because I'm also in my second marriage.
right.
And, you know, I wish I knew you like did all this writing. I would be like,
Yeah.
hi, come on to thequeenbuzz.com. I don't want to listen, I don't want to add another hat, but listen, if you want a column, you know me, like I am obsessed with you from day one. The event she put together, I didn't really give a backstory, but it was bringing mom and pops together. And that is my like,
Right.
anything I could do to support a mom and pop. In the beginning, I remember when I started, PR companies were like, what are you doing? Because I don't,
Right.
so I'm like charging people. Like, I just want
Right.
to support that brick and mortar or that home based business.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. And I loved being at the event. And then you put me in a chair in a spotlight. And I was like, usually I'm behind the scenes,
Right. Right.
but I was like, oh my God, she like legit cares and she wants to honor people in spotlight. And you didn't even get up in the chair. And I'm like, she should be up in this chair. Like she should
Like,
be
no, no.
talking.
But
So
you were great. You were great. You really
I was
were.
so
You were like one of the
nervous.
highlights. No, you guys were awesome. And I can't thank you enough for attending. And everyone was so appreciative to have you there and have your insight and whatever tips you could, lend. People were all ears. They really were. And that's why I love doing another hat, event planning, putting the events
Right.
together like that where it brings people together and gives them a platform. I'm all about it.
But now what about your show? I know obviously pandemic is like putting a pause on everything,
Yeah, yeah.
but can you give us like an inside scoop of your show?
Sure, 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 sure.
Oh, I wish like people who are in their car, you need to watch this. She's like, no problem. Look at me.
So the show, it's called Learn How to Marry Me. And basically, I think there are five of us, five women on the show. I'm the only married one. So I'm adding my tidbits and my little bit of, oh, well, this is what you do, whatever. But it's great because the women that were on the show, and they may like switch up some things seasons to come, but for our first season, there is one who was in a relationship, one who is celibate.
Oh.
There is one she's actively, well, she's looking for a relationship, but she's just not finding that one. And yeah, kind of the same for the other, but there are different levels to everyone. One has been married before, she's divorced now, like she's on to the next phase of her life. So it's great because we all have different experiences and we get to bring that all to the table. We talk about everything from dating now to online dating to interracial dating, because the majority of the class, everyone is, yeah, all the ladies are of African American uh, race, but I'm married to a white cop. So it's like we talk about like all the different variations. They're like, I don't know, should I? was like, yeah, it's just love, everybody's the same, and then other girls like, yeah, I want to try, and it's just so funny though, because these are actual conversations that women sit around and have, and everything's candid, nothing's scripted.
Nice.
And it's great just to hear those reactions to certain things that are said that are caught off guard. People talking about guys in their social media pages, people they're dating, and women trying to talk to them on social media. Like, it talks about everything. And it even goes a little bit more serious, and speaks of like verbal abuse in
Okay.
relationships. So we touch on so many things, and that's the fun thing about the show, is because it's like we never know where it's going to go from one minute to the next. We're like, what?
That's awesome though, because it's like for anyone who is in any of those situations or single, like it's a guide. It's like a little secret diary, a women's, well, not really diary because it's out there, but like a women's
Right.
guide, what to do.
Hmm.
I can't, I can't
Yeah.
even imagine. I never did online dating. And
I,
then I saw my husband, he was chefing it up. And I'm
oh,
the type of person that
mhm.
is like, that's mine. Like, I'm aggressive.
Right.
I'm a Leo. I will
Uh,
say, whoever posted those new horoscopes on your page lies, because I will always be a Leo. It's not
oh,
changing.
yeah.
No,
I'm
no,
like, I told
no. I am stubborn to the core. It is not changing. No,
you right.
no. So I was nervous. I was really nervous because I fear rejection, but I also fear the what ifs in life. Like, what
Right.
if I never did it?
Yes.
So I wrote my phone number on a post-it
Mm,
and I went up to him because I knew he was working and I was working too. I was event
right.
planning. I was working for Budweiser at the time, and it was like the
Mhm.
launch of the new apple cider, whatever it was.
Right. Right.
So I go up to him and I'm like, I know I'm being chicken, you know what?
Mhm. Mhm.
But here's my number if you want to call me. And I never fumble with words, but I was just caught off guard. Like, it was so warm and bubbly inside. I felt like, like, hi, like a
Right,
little
like you're
2-year-old.
in your
It's
routine
nice
again
to,
or something. Yeah.
yeah, like, I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
And turns out, so he wound up reaching out to me that night,
Mhm.
but he was in a relationship.
Okay.
So I put that to bed because with my past history, I'm like,
Yeah.
not doing this.
Right. Right.
6 months later, he reaches out. He's not in that relationship anymore. And now we're married.
Look
So
at that. See, you never know. I tell people that.
yeah.
I mean, I met my husband online, and
Were you scared?
um, no, because by the time I went out with him the first time, I
Okay.
had already gone out on several online dates. So it was just like, okay, and
Right.
that's what he would always ask me. He was like, "You weren't nervous our first date?" I was like, no, like I was a pro, I was good one way or another, you know, and we ended up dating for it was like about 6 months, and we broke up.
Oh.
And no, and we broke up, and then it's funny because I wanted a lot of times, like if I go through a breakup and it's not like it's kind of like shaky or whatever, then I don't want any contact with the person. I cut them off completely,
Right.
block them. So I blocked them on all social media, Facebook, whatever. So I'm Miss Event Planner, right? So I'm reaching out. I reach out to all these vendors, and they inbox me a lot of times on Facebook, and then it comes in through like the if we're not friends, it'll come in through the other inbox.
Right.
So I was like, well, let me check my other inbox to see who's messaged me. So I'm scrolling through, and then I see this name of somebody I have no idea who it is, and they were saying like hi to me. It's like, yeah, we dated 6 months ago. It's like, no, honey, I'm sorry, I don't know who this is. You got the wrong person, and I just hopped over to the next vendor, and it was him. Long story short, he created a fake profile so that he could reach out to me because I blocked him. And I was like, what do you want? Like what? So anyhow, he goes into this whole thing of like everything or whatever. And I agreed to meet up with him. And that was it. Now here we are, married.
Like, I know it's like, oh my God, you created a fake profile, but he was trying. He
Yeah,
was like, you are my like other piece. I need to put the puzzle together. Please. Oh my God. He's
Like,
probably
you're
going to
crazy.
like, he's like, no, no.
Yeah, I mean, and then he was like, I was stalking your Instagram page for like 6 months. He said, I was scared to reach out to you. I thought about just showing up at one of your events, but then
Oh my
I was
God.
scared to do it. I was like, no, be glad you didn't do that. I would call the cops.
Security.
Yeah,
Security.
exactly. Ah,
Escort out.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, I mean, and it's like I always tell people, and not that this is to be a whole relationship segment or whatever, but timing is everything.
Yeah.
At that particular time when we dated, it really just wasn't the right time. I feel like there were loose ends and things that we had like going on in other places that needed to be taken care of. And then it was like 2 years. He had been in a relationship and I had as well. And it's just, I think timing is everything. When we actually reconnected, the timing was better. It was a
Mhm.
much better time. He was a bit different. I was always perfect, but but I mean, anyhow, here we are now, and yeah, it's good.
I love happily ever afters. I know it's cliche and everyone's like, oh, but it's like, listen, for you and I, we've
Mhm.
been around the block.
Right.
We've experienced love, marriage, and how it
Mhm.
fails. And then
Right.
I don't think people will truly appreciate what
Mhm.
it is to be in a relationship, a partnership, a marriage until you lose it.
Right.
Because
Right.
that second opportunity you're given,
Mhm.
different because you know what it feels like to not have what you once had before. And that's,
Right.
I think, what makes this marriage for me, and I don't know about you,
Mhm.
stronger,
Right.
more appreciative.
Mhm.
Yes, I am a pain in the butt and I am stubborn, but
Right.
I now, and he appreciates me. My husband is
Mhm.
younger than me. He's 7 years younger than me. But let me tell you something.
Uh-huh.
He is more mature than any
Right.
man I've ever met. Um,
Mhm.
not, my dad, obviously. My dad trumps everybody.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
but he totally gets me. And when I
Mhm.
met him, I laid it out. I told
Yeah.
him what I wanted, and
Mhm.
he's like, okay.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
ask if he played video games in his mom's basement, though, because nothing wrong with video games, but I don't want to, like, hang out and be like, all right, let's play video game. No, it's
Yeah, no, not my thing either.
not my cup of tea. Oh my God. All right. So we are now learning so much about you, but now
Mhm.
I want to learn. And you
Okay.
know what I'm talking about. And
Mhm.
obviously, it is everywhere. It shouldn't be anywhere.
Right.
We should ask this. We are
Mhm.
in 2020, and I thought COVID was bad, and then the murder hornets. And
Right.
that is not even our biggest problem. Something
Mhm.
that's happened so many years ago, and for some reason we can't get it together.
Mhm.
And one of the reasons why I reached out to Sadie is because I I want someone to educate me. I want to know more. I want to know that if I say something, like I don't know if this is a trigger. Like if I say, I don't see color, is
Mhm.
that a trigger? And if it is, can you educate me and people that say that? If I
Right.
say all lives matter, is that
Mhm.
a trigger? And how do I get educated and how do we educate everyone else? So I
Right.
want this to be your speaking platform. I want
Okay.
everyone to pause what you're doing. Sadie says, stop moving and listen.
Okay. Well, just to kind of go into just the two things you just mentioned. And it's very funny that you started off with the I don't see color, because I have a really good girlfriend from back home, went to high school together, and she happens to be white. And she and this other guy we went to school with, who happens to be an African American guy, and we all just always, the three of us, tag each other, and post and stuff all the time. We're always laughing and joking and what have you. So she felt most comfortable asking us just that. Um, you know, Basically, is it a trigger? Whenever someone says I don't see color, or I think Mark had posted first. Anyhow, but here's the thing with that statement: I don't see color. I told her I don't get offended. I'm not angry when anyone says it, because I know that they're trying to come from a good place. But what it is, I was telling her, I said, I think I'm just annoyed when I hear it. And I said, and I'll just tell you why. And I don't, it's not probably obvious and something that's just on my face, but I do feel a certain kind of way when I hear it, because what it's telling me is that you don't see me.
Mhm.
And me being a Black woman, that's who I am. And I want you to see that. It's okay for you to see that we're different, you know. That's perfectly fine. I want you to, because for so long as Black people, we've had to conform and kind of fit into this mold that was made for us so that we could blend into society. And a lot of times, even after doing all that bending and reshaping and shape shifting of ourselves, to still be told that we don't fit in, you know, or we're, I won't even use the word fit in, but we're not good enough, you know.
Mm.
And um, I was making the point with her. I said, just alone, like Black women's hair, like for so long we pressed, and for us a perm is straightening of the hair. You know, we've done those things for so long. And it's like just now, even though there was a wave when people were wearing froze, like back in I think like the late 60s and 70s, that, you know, ethnic hair was acceptable, but then it still wasn't really in the workplace. So now we've gotten to a point where we're wearing like our braids and our dreads and our hair in its natural state, and it's more acceptable. I was telling her, I said, I see these commercials all the time now with these women with their natural curls. I was like, and
Mhm.
I get so proud because I'm like, okay, they see the difference and it's cool, you know, they see the difference and it's okay. So you know, saying I don't see color is kind of saying that you don't see me, and I want you to see me, you know, and I want you to just accept that we're different and embrace our differences. And I guess she was kind of asking as well, like, well, what should we say? I was like, you don't have to say anything like that. And all you have to say, like, say, for instance, when there are things that are going on in the world right now, just like, you know what? I support you. I see you. I stand by you. You know, that's it. You know, and that's probably your best way of, you know, acknowledging even that whole situation is just saying, you see it. You know, I stand by you, because a lot of times people do turn a blind eye, and then that's where everything goes downhill as well. So,
Right. See, and I'm happy that you clarified that in such a calm manner.
mhm,
It's something because I don't want to say that and make someone feel like they're not seen.
right,
Because the way I grew up, when I say I don't see color, I don't ever mean
right,
I don't see you because
mhm,
and I think that's the biggest problem. And I said something to someone. I said, I think the one thing is we're not asking questions. We're
mhm,
just jumping down people's throats. And I understand some people are just mad and
right,
they've had enough. So,
mhm,
they're venting.
right,
But, if I said that, I would hope someone would say, Dina,
mhm,
please understand what you're saying, because I'm the first person
right,
to run up to a random stranger and just hug them
mhm,
because I'm
right,
like, I'm crazy like that, and
right,
someone's probably like, whoa, you know?
right,
And, just the other day I was joking around. My son was acting up crazy and a
mhm,
Black couple walked by with their children. And I'm like, do you want another one? And just,
right,
I
right,
connect
right,
with anyone. That's my vibe. They were like, no.
mhm,
And because
right,
they thought I'm going crazy, but
right,
that's who I am. So that's like what you just did. I
mhm,
have chills right now. I'm going to be very honest. What you just did is what, when I'm watching people like you, and I'm going to TikTok for certain reasons, and I'll get to that in a
mhm,
second.
right,
Um, I'm crying because what you just did is so powerful. You
mhm,
showed your voice
mhm,
in a way that some people aren't doing, and maybe they will soon, but
mhm,
needs to be said. Like what you just did, we need more of. And
mhm,
the reason why I'm going to TikTok is because it hasn't had social media disruptions yet. And what I mean by that is I feel like Instagram
mhm,
and Facebook is
right.
so media overrun and driven
Oh yeah, yeah,
that like I'm frustrated because I don't know who to believe and who to talk to.
mhm,
And when I go on TikTok, I'm watching real, like
real people,
unedited, raw people. Like,
mhm,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm going to put the beauty filter on because I don't feel like putting my makeup on every day,
right, right,
but it's real, raw people. And what you
mhm,
just did, I just hope everyone, like, there's a rewind button on this podcast, rewind it and listen again. Just be careful with your words because, again, you don't know who you're hurting. And
Right.
that's, someone like Sadie might just say it peacefully, and someone, I don't know, like Betty might say it with a vengeance, but it's because you're not recognizing the difference from
Mm-hmm.
truly within.
With like hairstyles and things of that sort.
Yeah.
You would see, I think it was the Kardashians or some of them or whatever, had their hair in like two braids or whatever. And
Oh, like the
so,
tops and then on the sides. Yeah.
but what they would say, the reason I didn't say the name of the braids right then is because I'm going to say it in a minute. People were like, oh, the boxer braids, get boxer braids. And I'm hearing all this. I was like, what the boxer braid? What the hell is that? And then I looked and I'm like, you mean cornrows? We've been wearing cornrows all of our lives. And it's like, so now you take it and you remix it and now it's okay. But for with us, it was whenever we wore our hair in certain styles, it's like we were looked upon as being poor or raggedy or this or that.
Right.
But it's like now it's like cultural appropriation. Let's take it and we're gonna remix this. We want to take what we like from your culture and we're gonna use that. We're gonna take that, and use it over here. So, whenever we see things like that, I just like, oh my God, you know, but
Yeah.
but it's just, yeah, it's the whole thing. And then some people like it's just a hairstyle. I was like, no, it's a part of our culture. So we look at it a little bit differently, especially when we've been told for so long, no, don't wear your hair like that. You got to straighten it out. So anyhow, but we're over that now.
But it's funny you say that, because people will easily pass up something that's important to your culture. But if someone copies and pastes their quote or their idea on social media, it's like, oh, you didn't tag me? What are you doing stealing my stuff? Like, I literally just had that happen today. I am not in the mood. I'm letting it go. Goodbye, Karen. I always feel bad saying Karen, because what if Karen's really nice? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
goodbye, grouchy. Okay. But that's so crazy that someone will literally be like, Sadie, come
Mhm.
on, don't be silly. And it's like, did you just copy my image? You
Oh
need to
my God.
tag me in that.
You know what? That is a great point, and I'm going to go and refer to that somewhere else. Like that, you made an excellent point because I've never even thought about it that way. Yeah, like, oh, we're supposed to be okay with that, but
Right.
oh, yeah, yeah, good point. See, I'm learning here
And
too.
that's why I'm like, honestly, I said it to a dear friend of mine.
Mhm,
If I didn't have the blog and the
mhm,
dedication to mom and pops, I
mhm.
honestly, I don't think I would be social media like on there. Like, I joined Facebook when it was for college. So like
Okay.
I was reaching out to my professors. Like, the
Mhm.
kids use Schoology, or they use different Genesis
Oh yeah, I've heard.
platforms.
Mhm.
That's what Facebook was.
Right.
And then Instagram started, and I loved
Mhm,
it because you posted a picture and
mhm.
that's all it was. And now
Right.
it's a illusion of,
Mhm.
you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough,
Yes.
you don't
Yes.
belong here. Why are you posting that? And I'm like, doesn't anyone see that social media is
Mhm.
literally just ripping us apart? And
Right.
I'm sorry, but I believe social media is also part of this hate, because
Mhm.
it's like, oh, well, you're not skinny enough, you can't
Right.
sit with me. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
really? Like, you want to eat the donut?
Yeah.
Eat the donut. Stop.
Right. Well, that's why I love TikTok, like you were saying, because
Yes.
honestly, I get on there and I act a damn fool,
I
and I
was
have,
loving your video with the like, when you were doing the walking, I'm like, yes.
I didn't even know you saw that.
Listen.
There are only certain ones that I share to Facebook because Facebook, they're a bunch of snobs and
Yeah.
nobody's going to get it. Like, oh my God, TikTok, but on TikTok, I just get to act like a nut, like I really am. And people appreciate that.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna admit, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I'm new to TikTok. I'm new. My seniors were like, do it, do it. And I'm
Right,
like,
right.
guys, I don't know what to do, because there's also that like line I have to draw because I'm an educator, right?
There are
So they're
lots of
like,
teachers on there.
yeah, oh my God, yes.
It's so much fun. I love it there too because it's just like it's fun. You can make a statement if you need to, like right
Right.
now, statements are necessary and we do that. But it's just when I want to act like a fool, or do some old school dances, then I'm on there.
Oh yeah, like they're all like this. I'm like, that's the Macarena.
That's
That's nothing new. Knock it off.
the
Get your own.
remix. Yes,
What are you doing? Get out of
yes,
here with that. No.
exactly. Yeah, but it's so much fun. I'm up to 9,000 followers now, and I'm just like,
Are you
ah!
serious? All right, you know what? I'm gonna put my head down with my 150 right now.
No, it doesn't even matter. Like it's just so much fun. Like the sillier the better. I'm just like I need a break, from some of the Facebook
Yeah.
wars I get.
I think, well, you know what it is too?
Mhm.
I find that most people get into arguments on Facebook
Mhm.
because one, I call them cowards and they don't want to speak out. And I
Mhm.
said to anybody, if you want to talk to me about something, pick up the
Mhm.
phone. Let's
Right.
meet in
Right.
person, right?
Mhm.
And then second, it's because you are not afraid to use your voice.
Right.
And they
Right.
are. So what you
Yeah.
said
Mhm.
sparked something in them.
Right.
And I always say, if something is off putting, I'll message you, I'll DM you, I'll be like, what did you
Yeah.
mean by that? I
Yeah.
feel like always go to the source because
Yeah.
what am I doing on Facebook? Like
Mhm.
honestly, like you don't know the backstory. So,
Right.
like the best thing is you see all over TikToks, you
Mhm.
have wives who are in interracial relationships like
Yep.
yourself,
Mhm.
husbands who are officers. And
Mhm.
it's like no one knows your backstory if they don't know you. Like no one knows that, disregard what's going on right now.
Mhm.
Every single night
Mhm.
your husband goes to work,
Right.
you have to worry if he's coming home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now more than ever. So
Mhm.
not to say disregard what's going on, like I'm not listening to it, but this is a fear for you every night.
Right. Right.
And you have children. So
Mhm.
nobody knows your backstory. And
Yeah.
then on top of that, you have to explain to people why
Mhm.
being a Black woman is very different in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when someone approaches you and they don't know your backstory on Facebook,
Mhm.
that's when I'm like, delete.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, I don't, yeah, I've often said my delete hand is strong. Like I don't play
your
any games.
shirt that says
Oh,
that.
it's strong. I have a TikTok about it. I'll send it to you.
I have to, when we're done, I have to find, I don't know how to like I'm still trying to figure out how you find people. I'm so
Uh-huh.
bad at this. Like you would think someone who's been in like 10 years deep in
Right,
this
right.
social media and everyone's like, do a TikTok. And I'm like,
It's different, it's different, but like you figure it out and then your next thing you know, you're like, up there like doing crap like I do. I have one to post today. It's gonna be hilarious.
but see, like, I love that, like, you are on there, you are showing face, and, you know, I- it's just, I want people to get on the video as well. And I want people to see who you are. You are a
Mhm.
strong individual and you are not judging me for the questions I'm asking you right now, because
Right.
I don't know about you guys. I'm trying to learn here. I'm trying to make sure that I understand, because I think what's happening too is, so here's what happens from my perspective.
Mhm.
Someone said to me, well, why don't you use your white privilege? And I'm like, why are you
Mhm.
yelling at me with that? Like, I
Right.
don't know what that means.
Mm,
So I had to learn through TikTok, which is pretty
right.
pathetic. And I also want your perspective,
Mhm.
because when it's said to me with such force, and I think that's what
Mhm.
happens on your end when someone says, well, I don't see color, Sadie, it's not said
Mhm.
right. You have
Right,
to
right.
be careful how you speak, you
You
know?
take it down a little bit.
Right. It's like, okay, oh, all right. Here we
Mhm.
go again with Karen.
Right, right.
But like, so I saw the worst video. I can't even talk about it. Poor
Mhm.
Karen was in a parking lot. Some guy got shot, and Karen was like, "You're blocking my car. I need to leave." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh, I saw that video pop up, but I have yet to watch it because I was just like, I don't have the energy for this one right now.
yeah."
I was
And
like,
it
I'll
was
have to watch
like,
it later.
and then there was a male Karen who popped up, and he's like, "I have to get up at 3 in the morning. You're beeping your horns. Go to bed. I'm calling the cops on you."
Oh my God. Yeah.
So, like, okay, you're not yelling at
Mhm.
me. When someone says use your white privilege,
Mhm.
what does that mean? So people understand you're not telling us we're privileged. Because listen, I
Mhm.
don't have $1 million home. All right.
Mhm.
So, that's what's happening. Oh, I don't have $1 million home. I don't have
Mhm.
money.
Mhm.
I don't think that's what they mean.
No, it's not. It's just simply for, for me, like, okay, like you were saying, you don't have $1 million home and, but just a person being born white in this country is a privilege because at the end of the day, this white person, regardless of what they have, it's funny. I was actually looking at something online today, and they were talking about back when it was like redlining and how they were you could have been an African American in a middle class or upper middle class, and they would have given a loan to a lower income white person before they would give it to the African American. Like, it's just, there was no privilege with being Black. And then they would talk about, gosh, why is it I can't, I'm drawing a blank right now. Affirmative action.
Okay.
So people would speak about affirmative action. Oh, well, Black people, affirmative action. And I'm like, no, what you're failing to realize is that we started at a disadvantage. So we will never be at the advantage. Like, whatever is given to us has been owed to us. When you think about, like, I'll just tell you, my family, my background with my family were, they were slaves on a plantation, Pegues plantation in Chesterfield County, South Carolina. And on that particular plantation, like, I went and I did this whole thing with looking into the history of that. We were never at a position where we were equal.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that was given to us was due to us. This country, everything, I feel like everyone is so angry, and because whatever's going on now is nothing new.
Right.
And we feel like we're always being looked down upon when we didn't ask to be put in the position that we were. And like, when I think of stories that my mother told me, you know, and my grandfather, her father wasn't a slave, but he was a sharecropper. And what that basically did, he had a home to live in. My grandparents had a home to live in with their children, but they had to work the land, you know, and they didn't really get paid anything. Like, working the land was kind of like them, where they were living, but it was just, they were at such a disadvantage. She would tell me stories. My mom dropped out of school in 8th grade because her younger siblings came to her bus stop when she got out of school, and they were saying they were hungry. And like, there was so much going on that from that day on, she never went back to school. She started taking care of the kids in the house so that the other ones that were able could work the fields. Like, we were never at an advantage. So to have someone who happens to be white to tell us that we've gotten all these handouts, and that, we've been given this and given that, it was like, well, no, that's not necessarily true. If anything, we're still due, So white people, I feel like, always have the privilege, always are at the advantage, because you think about, like, how much further along could some people be had we not been brought here in the position that we were, and it's sad, because for we're still looked at as being less than. I mean, I've had a situation just recently that, I've dealt with, where it's like, you really think that, like, I'm less than what you are? Like,
Right.
and it's just really, like, it's baffling to me, because I'm like, if anything, with all the struggle and things that we've gone through as a people, if anything, we should be lifted up on a pedestal, kind of to say, you know what? You guys are still here. You
Mm-hmm.
survived that. You
Right.
survived, public lynchings. You survived, um, not being paid as much as the next man who's of a different race. Like, you survived all of that.
Right.
You survived all the public housing and stuff, because and people look at it like, whenever they ended slavery, okay, it's done, but what do we do now? We're uneducated. Where do we go? We don't have anything, and it's like, I don't think people really look at the struggle and the history of what's been done to the Black community, and they're so quick to come off with, like we've received so much and so many handouts, and I'm like, well, no, that's not really true,
Right.
Anyhow, I probably went way left with that.
No, no, because you're making a point. There's still a movement going on. And I think someone said it best.
Mhm.
Um, we don't have a movement. There's no white person movement.
Right.
We don't have to remind the world
Mhm.
of our struggles.
Right.
And you guys have to do that.
Right.
And even coming from someone from your background, knowing the struggles of your family,
Mm-hmm.
you're not screaming your head off and
Mm-hmm.
hating the world. You
Right.
are someone who's strong and you say, okay, this happened. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to grow from this.
Right.
And like you said, you are still here.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't run away from everything that's going on.
Right.
And that just makes you stronger than me, than the next person. And it's, it's hard to hear. And I'm sure people are like, oh, what is the white girl, saying she's emotional for? I can't tell you how many times I've cried watching a Black person get down on their knees, hug a police officer, hug another white person. Like that's all we need to do. Some guy came up with a challenge on TikTok. He said, here's your challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone of a different race, Asian, Black, Hispanic, and
Mm-hmm.
become their friend. Shake their hand, become their friend. And
Right.
I'm saying like, mom hormones. I'm like, oh my God. But it's like, that's what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do hope that like what I'm doing and I'm learning, I'm hoping more people do, because I don't want to say the wrong things to hurt people. And if I ever said something that offended, and it doesn't have to be to a Black person, it could be to a
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic and Asian. And most people don't even know I'm Puerto Rican, because I am like,
Oh,
everyone's like,
I
oh,
don't know.
yeah.
Glad
um,
you would.
but yeah, most people don't even know I'm Puerto Rican. So like when someone says something like, they say something about Hispanics, I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
like, come
Yeah.
on, and
Like, here
I
we go.
feel right. And I feel like we shouldn't have to like judge me for being a dope and
Right.
smacking you across the face when I shouldn't. Don't judge me based on what I look like
Mm-hmm.
or who I decide politically to run. I don't know. Like, I know that's a whole nother story. And oh God, when it comes to politics, oh, like, don't get me started on that, because I'll need a whole bucket of popcorn and a lot of hydration.
Yeah.
Um,
You need a drink.
but I mean, like, you didn't have to take the time to do this. I,
Right.
I emailed you and I clued you in on where I was going. And I was very sensitive on how I approach a situation, because I know what's going on. And I know you don't have just one thing on your shoulders. You have two things, because you are trying to support your race and
Mm-hmm.
educate them and gear them in the right direction. And you're also trying to support your husband, who is trying to, no matter what, protect
Mm-hmm.
whoever comes at him.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the stress. I hope
Mm-hmm.
that hashtag Sadie says, I hope that
Mm-hmm.
becomes trending. I hope people listen to you, and I hope people understand that even someone who has
Mm-hmm.
a background that you do that just kills me. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the people that did that to your family. That is not okay. If I was back there and then, I would be the one person that would smack people and risk my life, because that is not okay. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry for the people that mistreat you, because you are a beautiful soul. You accepted the minute I met you. You hugged me, not knowing. You're like, all right, crazy girl here. But you hugged me, you embraced me, you put me on a pedestal, not knowing me, and said, you do an awesome job. Tell people about it. You didn't have to do that. I'm hoping that people learn from everything that's going on. I'm hoping people learn from you. We need more people like you in the world, because again, I met Sadie once, friends, just once. And she is so important in my world. You have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I got chills when she's speaking, because I've only had one other educator in my life, in my college years, a Black professor. Do you know what she taught me about being a teacher? When a Black child puts their head down, please don't yell at them.
Mm-hmm.
They are respecting you. When a Black child from an inner city comes to school and they're ignoring you, it's because they're hungry, they're tired, or they need a shower and someone's not treating them right. And let me tell you something, that changed my teaching. That changed
Mm-hmm.
everything on how I teach, and it made me a stronger educator. So you two are, and I ran full force at her and hugged her on graduation day. And people were like, what is she doing? I'm like, you don't understand. She matters so much to me. And that's why I ran to you. I'm like, yep, we're going to just run to this woman here, because you didn't know anything about me. And you made me feel like a superstar that day.
Oh.
Like you did. You
But
did.
you were a
Oh, stop.
superstar.
No, I'm behind the scenes. I will always take the camera and be like, oh, you go. You do it. I'm good. Like, look, I'm gonna hide behind my mic here right now.
I think Tyler Perry was on Oprah's show. He was the guest when she was still on air. And he told her that she said something that changed his life. Whenever you get an idea, okay, write it down. You have
Okay.
to write it down because like you could have it perfectly formed like in your mind, and if you mess up and you don't write it, like I've let a couple of hours go by and I'm like, shit, wait a minute, what did I say? Like it was brilliant when I had it, and now
Right.
it's not so brilliant, So it's like always write it down, because yeah, I have an Evernote pad full of crap that I still haven't really done much with, but if I ever want to go back to it, I'm like, yeah, that was it.
I know, even like titles, like, so I'll think of like, so tonight I have to keep my Post-its by me. Post-it
Hmm.
should sponsor me. I'm trying to calm down here because I know I'm killing trees. I'm sorry. But like, I'll come up with the best podcast like title.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then I'm like, I'll remember this. And I wake up and I'm like, what was it? No, like, oh my God, you're saying,
Yeah, yeah,
please, like,
yeah.
breaking my heart. So I'm serious. Like, you email me, you let me know.
Yeah.
I want, I used to have so many writers on my blog and I miss it,
Mhm. Okay.
and I haven't done a lot of events lately because, being a mom I waited many years to become a mom. Let's just leave it at
Mhm.
that. And being a mom has, oh my God, not only do I cry at every commercial on television and movie, it could be like a cartoon character falling and I'm like, like ugly crying. My husband's laughing at me, but it's me, it positioned things a little differently, but I want different perspectives. I don't want it because,
Mhm.
the other girl who writes for me, Robin, I don't just want it to be Dina
Yeah.
and Robin. I want more people. And
Mhm.
I want something from you because you just like, we vibe. I like this. Good. And maybe sometimes you'd be like, "Whoosh, Dina, like, no, what are you doing?" Because I need it every now and then. But I think you should let people know your TikTok so they can follow you, because now
Yeah.
everyone's like, I want to see her craziness. So what is I'm gonna write it down too because I gotta follow you. What is your TikTok? Do you know your TikTok
Okay.
handle?
My TikTok is all sugar. It's AWWSUGA. And it's funny because people are like, all sugar. Yeah, because I'm from the South. I'm from South Carolina originally. So everything was all sugar and all sugar, sugar back home. So yeah. And then I had a Bath and Body line by that name too. But
No,
it's
you
all
didn't. Really?
I used to make, yeah, Bath and Body products, but then like it was something I did for a long time. It's something I kind of started with my mom, and
Mhm.
I was really into it and I was doing it. I even my products were a part of the gifting suite for Rip the Runway for BT. But
What?
yeah, so it was cool, but then it was a lot kind of to do. And then when my
Yeah.
mom passed, I was just like, you know what, this was something that I really enjoyed doing with her, and I
Okay.
just kind of put it to bed, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna move forward with it anymore because it was something I enjoyed with her. But
Right.
yeah, but yeah, all sugar on TikTok.
I think about what was his name? That song. It's in the title as Sugar. I can't say it. Sugar Sugar. You remember that
Oh,
song? Sugar
sugar,
Sugar, why
dun, dun,
get
dun.
so
Oh,
fly? Yes.
like way back, and you
Yes.
were like semi
Listen,
current.
I go back to, let's see if you know who I'm talking about, putting your jeans backwards and your jerseys
Oh my
backwards.
god, you know what? See now, it's funny you should say. Like I'm like I've got you by about 10 years,
No, you
but
don't. No, you
yes, I
don't.
do. Yeah, I'll be 46 like this year.
What?
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Next time we talk, we're talking about skincare because I need to listen. I told you my husband's 7 years younger. I'm trying to preserve this. I'm trying.
Trying to hang on.
I'm like, oh, fix it. What works? I got myself a cosmetics fridge. We are keeping things cold, trying to
Oh
like
my
freeze
god,
it in.
girl,
Oh
you
my
look
God.
great. Whatever.
I'm trying. I'm trying. Yoga does a body good, supposedly.
Well,
Oh
then I
my
need to
God.
get with you on that.
Yeah, I do. I gotta be honest. Monday I go live and I do yoga and I feel bad. I wasn't feeling it, with everything going on. And I just did a quiet yoga movement. I wanted to do it for George Floyd, like, you know, the silent
Oh,
movement, just everything.
wow.
I was trying to do 9 minutes. I think I surpassed it. That was my fault. But I couldn't, I don't know. I didn't want to be on social media. I
Ah,
couldn't do it. So
mm,
I'll let you know when I'm yogaing.
okay.
And I always try to keep it basic because not
Right.
everyone is ready to flip on their head. But it's my saving grace. It's what keeps me
Hmm.
sane and
Hmm.
focused
Right.
and fit because I like ice cream. So
Girl, I had to get an exercise bike. Those Klondikes and those lime Tostitos weren't like, I got on the scale. I'm looking at, no, I got to tell you a true story. I'm sorry, now let you go. There's a pair of camo pants, like camouflage pants that I love to wear. They're joggers. So I go to put them on one day. Like this was after I washed them, I dried them. I go to put them on. I'm like, shit. I said, I must have had the setting on the dryer too high. It's like I shrunk my pants. So I go and order another pair of the same pants. Pants come, same size. I go to put them on.
oh
I'm like,
no.
oh crap, I gained weight. I didn't shrink.
No, maybe you built muscle.
Oh no, because
You
that was
built muscle.
before that was before the exercise bike. So in that moment, I went and got an exercise bike, and I started eating better. It's like ground chicken and quinoa and all that now, and I lost the weight. But it was just like I ordered a whole other pair of pants, thinking I shrunk more.
Well, now you could have one for going out, right? Dress
Right,
it up, and then
right.
one for working out.
Yeah, yeah, that works. I'm like, what
Um, I've been wearing sweats and stretchies, so I haven't tried on jeans or anything like that.
the- right.
Um, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll see
It's an adventure.
what quarantine has done to and you know what? If the bathing suit doesn't fit, well, listen, I don't care.
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't care.
whatever. Half the summer be gone anyways. But
Yeah, like doesn't the sun burn off fat like it burns like, you know, sweat and
that's
doesn't
that's
that work,
exactly what it
right?
does. That's
And
what
I
it
could just contour with my tan towels and hide everything. We're
just call Mariah. Mariah Carey knows how to contour that skin right up.
Oh, okay.
Be
I
fine.
feel like I'm like when I talk to my dad about like social media, it's like, what? What? Like the one time he said to me,
Mhm.
what did he say? I was making fun of him because he said something like he always does like www. I'm like, you don't have to write
Uh,
the W.
you don't
So
have
the
to do
joke's
that.
on him. I'm like, if you don't write it, you're gonna get a virus. If you don't write the www dot, you're gonna get a virus. So my brothers always laugh at me because it's like, yeah.
Right.
Sorry, Dad. I love you if you're listening. I did it again. Just
Oh
kidding.
my God.
Oh my God, we're a mess. We're a mess. So yeah, guys, I hope that you guys can see, you know, Sadie on the blog soon if she joins on. I think we're gonna have to do like a part 2 of this. We're gonna have to do this at least once a month or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Hashtag,
Yeah.
we'll call it hashtag. Let me try this again. Honk honk. You know, like the horn comes in.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do like something hashtag Sadie says, and you'll have to come up like we'll do this once a month. You'll have to come up with like a topic that people have to listen to you about.
Okay.
Obviously, she's not gonna make you do something dangerous. Like, come on now. Like if she says try like purple lipstick, Sadie says you have to try
Oh,
it.
sounds
So
good.
we'll do fun stuff like that. We'll pick what works best with you. So we'll make it so it's a designated week, meaning like if it's the
Mm.
third week of the month, so people know when to chime in and they know when to not listen to me, which is
Ah.
totally fine. Um, so you know, this is so crazy. Okay. This is bananas. This is why I love what I do. I have listeners. Are you ready for this? I have
Mm-hmm.
listeners in Sweden, Australia, Germany, France, Morocco, Hungary, Brazil, Nigeria, Canada, Ireland, and in the States.
What?
Yes. So
Well,
they are
I have
listening
to.
to us around the world.
Well, then I have to say this. Because we just recently saw all these posts with everyone taking a knee for George Floyd all around the world. So,
Right.
to all of your listeners around the world, we thank you from the Black community. We just thank you from the United States in general, because we all need to be in this together in order to fix this. So, thank you to everyone who is peacefully protesting, because it is a movement. Mm-mm.
That was the best. She was like, mm-mm. So you guys listen, Make sure you get up on the TikTok. It is AWWSUGA. Not,
Mhm.
sugar, sugar, how you get so fly. Only one.
Now it's in your head.
Make sure you follow her, okay? I'm gonna put that also in the show notes. So anyone that's driving in their car, I'll put that handle at the end of our talks so they can jump on their phones, not while driving. Please do not text drive or do anything.
No, be safe. Be safe.
And yeah, so we're going to hear more from Sadie. We'll let you guys know what week she picks. We'll have our hashtag Sadie Says, updating you always in her fabulous world of 45,000 hats that she wears. I want to thank you again so much for listening to what I had to say, educating me, educating our listeners, spending time that you could be doing whatever you want, but sharing with me means the world to me.
Mm.
And again, just thank you. Thank you,
Oh, no, thank
thank you,
you.
and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the platform, hon. It was fun.
Clapping it up. So you guys listen every Sunday. We are live at noon. And yeah, let's talk more next Sunday. Bye, guys.